everybody, it's Regular Girl, and I'm back. This is another episode of Cafe Psyche, and today I want to talk about texture in food. But before I tell you that, the reason I've been gone is that my motor chair had not been working correctly, so that's how I make these videos. I go out with my motor chair. There was a defective battery, but they came and they fixed it. I had to wait 3 weeks for that to happen, but they did it, and so here I am. And what I've been doing a lot of is listening to live music, live jazz, and that's got me to thinking about a word they use in economics that was not familiar to me. The word is fungible. F-U-N-G-I-B-L-E, fungible. So look that up, fungible. And the reason I was thinking about it is because I wish I had some fungible to throw the way of the jazz musician. But it got me to thinking about this economic system that we have, which is not a good one. And here's why. Because it's not a system where the effort that one puts out, you get a fair exchange, a fair return of fungibles for the effort that you put out. Because if it were one, I would have one. I would have some fungibles to throw out. And it's not just me, because it's not like I've been some slouch throughout my lifetime, nor have I been a slouch lately. Yet I have no fungibles. And it's not just me. See, these jazz musicians play their asses off. I'm telling you, they play their asses off. Yet, are they rolling around in the fungibles? No, they're not. No, they're not. This system we have, the way that you get rich and rolling around high in the dough of the fungibles is a tricky dick kind of system. Who knows how it is, how you get rolling around in the dough. See, you know, tricky dick kind of system. Not a good one. Not a good one. So I don't know how we're going to change it, but we need to change it. So enough about the fungibles, but I wish I had some to throw their way. And I'm going to talk more about why it is that I think that jazz is such a phenomenal musical form for me personally, why it was that it just rocked my world and changed everything. And I think it is related to the healing of the food issue in my life. But today I want to talk about texture in food. Texture in food is a real breakthrough. It was a real breakthrough for me. So usually we talk about what it is that you eat, and reading food labels, that is crucial as well. Because like I said in episode number 1, it does, what you are eating does have something to do with it. And I'll talk about that maybe in another episode. But today I want to talk about texture and psychic states. So, when I was first in treatment, I got to go to treatment, real treatment, at a private center called Renfrew. I had had my first heart attack. And maybe you don't care to hear about this, but nonetheless, I'm going to tell you about it. I got to go for eating disorders because I had been grossly morbidly obese at times in my life, and then I had been really skinny. I remember standing on a scale and looking down on it, and the scale said 114 pounds. I'm 5'9", that's how tall I am, and I would look down at the scale, and I still felt fat. Okay, so that's distorted body images, the official name for that. And I was very young the first time that happened to me, but I've also weighed close to 400 pounds. That's where the regular scales don't weigh you anymore. Anyway, there wasn't anything that they could do for this food texture thing. So what I mean by that is one of the foods that I used to crave was crunchy foods, crunchy, salty foods, potato chips, things that you could really mash on. You know what I mean? And I was going to tell you this story about me in the eating disorders place where after the first heart attack, I would be binge on fat-free pretzels and grapes. That's the only thing that I was allowed to eat. Me, personally, I was the police cop. Inside I had this little internal police cop, foods that I was not afraid of. Fat-free pretzels were one of them, and everything bagels from this certain bagel place up in Westchester. I would drive there, buy this dozen bagels, and drive north to the country in my car and sing. I would sing songs as they were playing, and I'm a singer, and eat these one bagel after the next while doing so. But this therapist who I would tell about this in Renfrew would say to me in that therapist kind of way, while I'd be talking on and on about the personal telling my life stories, she'd start and she'd say, I'm curious, why bagels? She would say. I'd be like, huh? Why bagels? Now, I had read everything that was available, and I really mean this, because there wasn't a whole lot out there about eating disorders, being overweight, about dieting. Anything that I could ever find since like 1976, I had read it. So I was familiar with this kind of thing. There was this one woman who had done a method of weight loss and started to connect psychic states with types of food that we would eat, meaning crunchy, angry foods were related to anger states. So when this therapist said that to me, I was kind of onto her. I was like, well, I'm not so sure is that what you're going for, or are you looking for some kind of event in childhood that the bagels represent, and I couldn't find one. And I'd be like, I don't know where the everything bagel came from. And I couldn't. I still can't tell you. I really still can't tell you. But they had to be everything bagels, and if you know people with eating disorders were like that. We're very specific about the food. Very, very specific. And it was this particular kind of everything bagel that it had to be, and I would eat all of them except for 2, and then I would throw them out the window. But the type of food that I did crave did have to do with anger, crunchy, hard, gnawing down on it kind of thing. Texture. It wasn't until the 1980s that they started to make those fat-free products. So you get that smooth consistency, the fat-free mayonnaise, the fat-free milk. Before that, when you were dieting, you just couldn't have it. That's all there was. But my point here is that you can, once you start to tune in and listen to your body about what kind of soft, creamy, fatty food, but that's good for you. Mine was avocado. It may not be avocado for you. And there also is a science about food combining. And once you can tune into what that is for you and just eat that one, like I began to lose weight like crazy once I allowed myself to eat as many avocados as I wanted to. Because avocados are really healthy for you. But you can't combine them with cheese. You can't put sour cream on it. You can have a lot of salsa though, a lot of tomatoes. You can do a lot of creative things with avocados that taste really, really good, and they're really satisfying for you, and you start to lose a lot of weight. The other thing that I'm going to talk about in the next video is hunger, because that's a really big one. And I think that's all for today. So we have the fungible thing, but I think there is a connection between money, because there's that lack, that lack of, see, and there's something about food and craving and need for something, and you know where I'm going with this, right? I don't need to say anymore. Thanks for listening. Bye.